Okay, you guys know this. The Buffaloes are currently preparing for their opening game on September 2nd against the TCU Horned Frogs. We are jacked about that game and cannot wait to continue to cover it from a pregame, mid-game, post-game, all perspectives here at the Prime Time for College Football. But you may not know this. During a recent practice, Coach Prime went off script and he gave his players a major warning. You guys want to hear about this, but just before we get to it and what went down at practice, I'm going to tell you a quick funny story about Deion Sanders. So back in 1992, the Washington Redskins drafted Heisman Trophy winner Desmond Howard. Howard was in one of his first few games of his career, and his team was taking on the Atlanta Falcons, where Coach Prime played. During the game, the Falcons were punting, and Desmond Howard was back to receive the punt with another player named Brian Mitchell. So the ball gets punted away from Desmond, and Brian Mitchell fields it and throws a lateral back to Desmond Howard. Howard catches the lateral, and he flies around the left edge, and he scores a touchdown. Deion Sanders sees this touchdown and becomes furious. He was so upset. When the Falcon team started to line up for the kick return, Deion runs out and intercepts the kick returner and tells him, "Go back to the bench. I'm going in." On that kickoff, Deion catches the ball on the 1-yard line, makes a few moves, turns on the jets, and takes it 99 yards to the house. What's the point of the story? Well, it's not necessarily that Coach Prime's just the GOAT, which he is, but it's that Deion Sanders, Coach Prime, expects his players to give 100% every single play. And that's what Coach Prime did in that play. It felt like Howard made a good play and got the attention and was the focal point of the game at that moment. And so what does Coach Prime do? No. It's me. It's my team. It's us. We're the ones that you're going to be talking about. We're the ones you're going to be focused on. Completely flipped the script. Well, guess what? He flipped the script at practice this week, and that's what we want to talk about. Coach Prime expects his players to do the same thing. He expects 100% on every single play. He expects them to leave it all on the field. I don't necessarily think that Coach Prime ever took plays off or ever slouched or ever gave less effort, but let me tell you something. On that kick return, I bet he gave more effort on that play than any other play in his career. Now, I can't verify that. We could ask him, but I bet you that the effort he gave on that play was different than any other play because he knew that it meant something bigger. This is how Coach Prime wants his guys to fight. He wants them to fight like they're giving their all, like they're fighting for their lives out on that field, because that's how he always played the game. During a recent practice, apparently some of the players were just not living up to Coach Prime's standards and his expectations, and he had some choice words about the practice. He said, "We've got some guys that flat out quit, shut it down, started feeling sorry for themselves." Apparently, Coach got so upset at some of the effort from his players that he made them run 700 yards worth of gassers from one end of the field to the other. 7 football fields worth of gassers. Then he took it a step further, saying that they were going to go back and watch the film, and they're going to identify everyone that wasn't giving 100% effort. Now, I don't have to tell you guys this, but the Buffaloes are coming off of a pretty rough season, and that's apparent. They won one game in 2022, but Coach Prime is hoping to turn things around, and he knows that that's not going to happen unless he fixes the culture there in Colorado. Make no mistake, tough love and hard work is the way that all great football teams are built. You think that Alabama built their monster of a dynasty because Coach Saban was just lovey-dovey and worried about guys' feelings? Absolutely not. Do you think Kirby Smart is a nice guy when things are not at 100% effort level? Jimbo Fisher, other great coaches that have won recently, Urban Meyer? No. Tough love. There's love, but it is tough love. Coach Prime absolutely loves these kids, and he's trying to teach them how to reach down deep and get more out of themselves than they even know that they're capable of. Tough lessons like these are the ones that make sure players will have each other's backs when the hard times come this season. Listen, we've not gone into a full expectation video yet, but this is not going to be an easy season. I believe in Coach Prime, and I believe in the process of what he's building, but I don't think this is just a win one and go 12-0 type year. I think it's going to take time for Deion Sanders to be able to turn this around, and the schedule that they play is very unforgiving. There will be tough times, and that's not to say that they're not winning a game. That's not to say any of that, but there is always adversity. Every team faces it, and Coach Prime is trying to prepare his players for when that moment comes. The great teams of every dynasty have faced adversity. When you look at the Alabama teams losing to Clemson in the final seconds, when you look at Georgia before their run, losing to Alabama on the last play of double overtime, when you look at Coach Bowden's own teams who Deion Sanders played for, how many times did they kick a field goal? As a Florida State fan, how many times did they kick a field goal wide right or wide left or miss out on a game by inches because they lost to their rivals or they lost to their rivals in a rematch? And there is always adversity. And Coach Prime is trying to get these guys to understand when that adversity comes, you have to dig deeper. You have to go inside of yourself and dig deeper and rely on your teammates to come out of that adversity on the other side. I don't know if it's going to be week 1 against TCU. I don't know if it's going to be week 2, 3, 4, Nebraska game, whatever. There will be adversity. There will be challenges. There will be losses that we weren't expecting. There will be wins that we weren't expecting. But there will be things that challenge this fan base, this program, these kids. And how do you respond to that? You think Coach Prime likes seeing Desmond Howard running down the sideline, scoring a touchdown in front of him? You think Coach Prime enjoyed that? No, absolutely not. But what did he do? Did he go sit on the bench and pout and sulk and quit and get down on himself? No. He grabbed the guy that was going to be running back the kick return, said, "You're out, I'm in, and I'm going to go make something happen." And that's what I think he wants his players to be able to do. Maybe not in a physical sense. Let's trust Coach Prime with depth chart decisions. But that's what he needs guys to do, is to step up and be bigger than that moment. You rely on their teammates, dig deep within themselves, and then come out on the other side on top. The wins and losses are going to come, and that's just college football. Very rarely does a team, maybe once a year, go undefeated. And a lot of times our national champion hasn't even gone undefeated. But how do you respond to the adversity that comes, whether it be in the game or in life or wherever? I think that's the message that Coach Prime wants to send home, and that I think he wants his players to understand. And what is most important about this upcoming season? Tough lessons like this, again, will make sure that these players have each other's backs when the hard times come this year. I appreciate you guys for watching. I wouldn't be here without you guys. If you have a funny story to share with us about Coach Prime or an idea that you'd like for us to cover in a video, share that in the comments. We are getting the content cranked back up as the season is just a little bit over a week away. But I wouldn't be here without you guys. I wouldn't be covering this team without you guys. So let me know more of what you guys want us to talk about. We'll do a TCU preview. We'll do a season preview here in a couple of days. We'll get that out to you before the season starts. Make sure that you're locked in with the channel. I've appreciated the ride that we've been on so far, but buckle up because it's going to get a whole lot more fun. Down in the description, I've also posted a link to the game video from that Deion and Desmond story. You guys need to go check that out because it's phenomenal stuff. This is not the only very interesting, intriguing story that's come out of Colorado's practice from the last few days. Coach Prime did something that got everyone up in arms that you can check out by watching right here. Thank you guys, as always, for watching the Prime Time for college football.